Yeah, I bought this Falcon several years ago. Was gonna restore it. Started doing some body work on it. It had a lot of rust in it. Come from Florida, salt, water, air, and ate it up. And got the price of parts. Man, it just, I figured by the time I restored it, I'd have way more money in it I'd ever get out of it. And so I drug it back out in the field. Sit there for a couple years, and then I built that 454 Rat Recon, first rat rod I ever built. I built a lot of custom stuff, but that 454 Rat Recon was the first rat rod. And so I liked it. I said, man, rat rods is the way to go, because you go to rat rod events and have a blast, and it don't cost a lot of money to build a rat rod. So I decided to build another rat rod with the Falcon, make some use out of it, get it out of the field, put it to use. So I drug it up in the shop, started cutting it apart. All I want is just the body panels. I don't need none of the chassis, none of that stuff. I just need the body parts. So I did that. It kind of stuck them together, body parts I wanted. Well, first thing I did, chop the top and chop the doors, make them 6 inches shorter, and the rear quarter panel made it 6 inches shorter. And stuck them parts together, and I bought some tires and wheels, nice tires and wheels, stuck up on it, just rolled them under there, kind of so I could see kind of what it's going to look like. Done that, and okay, it's going to look pretty good. So took the body parts and drug them out in the yard, got my buddy's big old air compressor sandblaster, a big industrial rig, and hired me a helper to come out there and sandblast them parts. And then this picture here is just a pile of the parts in my shop piled up. This is the entire 64 Falcon in one pile right here. So I started sticking the body parts back together, kind of tacking them together, and after they're sandblasted, sticking them together a little bit at a time. And I started building chassis. It got me an old 97 Blazer, chopped the front clip off of it to use for the front suspension. I don't know if that was a good thing to do or not. I ain't decided yet. But that's what so far that's what I'm going with. And bought me some material, some 2x3 frame, rectangle for the frame. Bought some pipe to make a roll cage with. So I started building frame. Got me a 9-inch Ford rear end, and built it with a spool, some 35 spline axles. Put the chassis on the rotisserie and got it painted up and everything, and started putting it together. Made me a 4-link parallel suspension for that rear end and got it mounted up under there. Yep, been here and done this before. Hey Red, get out of that car, shove it up here while I hold this body straight. Alright, got the body back on. Red in there, making sure everything is fitting good. Got the shop cleaned up well. It's cleaned up pretty good. It's a little bit clean. But anyway, I gotta get the front cap. I ain't got it painted yet, but I gotta get it on there and get it before I weld the body down. I gotta get the front cap on there, and I gotta get all the body panel all lined up before I weld it down. So that's the next task. Alright, got the front cap on, got the door stuck on there. Got the arrow pointing that way on the top. I had to make the top shorter because I took 6 inches out of the door, made it 6 inches shorter. I took 3 inches out of there, made that 3 inches shorter, and I took 3 inches out back here, so this back end is actually 6 inches shorter, and the door is 6 inches shorter. So from here back to the end, it's a foot shorter than the original car. So I had to make the top shorter. I chopped the front 3 inches on the top, and the back 2 inches. I wanted to give it that kind of look. But I left the front cap the same. I left the front cap the same length so it'd give it
kind of a funny car look. The front tires up way forward and stock. I had to cut that fender out. Got my zoomies. Man, you talk about a good deal on a tunnel ram. I wanted a tunnel ram, and I said, well, I'm gonna get on eBay and buy one, and I priced it like $425 and up for a new one. And I said, well, I'm gonna find a used one. I ain't no hurry, so I put in a search on eBay, and I put it in save search with a notification where I get an email notification when they come up. And this would come up, tunnel ram with carburetors and linkage. I got the linkage too. $400. Two 600 double pumpers. I'm gonna have to rebuild them, but he said 600. I'm gonna check, make sure. But anyway, they double pumper carburetors with the linkage for them. Tunnel ram, YN tunnel ram. I'm gonna put it in a bead blaster, that and the valve covers, make them look new again. But yeah, eBay. Put in a search and save the search and do a notification on the search if you're hunting for stuff, and sometimes you find a good deal. But anyway, I got these other panels that goes down here. Of course, I'm gonna have to trim them to fit the zoomies. The reason why I done that, I don't know if I noticed the Corvette, that's the way they open. They got to cut that right there, because you don't. What happens when that hood? I got a split front. When the hood come down, that bottom of that fender hit that door coming down, so you got to cut it there. Let me open up the hood and we'll see how that works. Yeah, but that's homemade zoomies. That's the first headers I ever made. I just bought that flange off of eBay. 35, 40 bucks for the flanges, and I just bought me some pipe and some nannies, and I cut them little bends out of nannies and used a straight pipe and had to bend it for my front tire. When I turn the tire, clear it, and this is nannies. Just weld it together. It's a rat rod. They might even leak a little bit. And I got the stuff to coat them. I'm gonna paint them silver. Got the VH header paint, silicone. But you gotta have either a oven to put them in, or you gotta have an engine, because you gotta cure that when you put it on. You gotta cure it. So I'm gonna wait till I build the engine. I'm gonna put them on and paint them and crank the engine up and heat them up. You gotta heat them up, so it gives you a description on the can what you gotta do. But anyway, that's why they're not painted yet. And the front flips, I just maybe a couple hinges right there. And I got to put stops on it and all that stuff. It's kind of crude right now, but yeah, I got these on these pieces here. Got them holes in it. Got these little dowel pins on this piece. Yeah, they got the holes in these. I got them pins in there, and it goes in them holes. So when you close that down, them pins I'll go in them holes and keep that lined up. Hopefully, that's the plan. But I got to trim the bottom of them so they clear my zoomies, and then these here be mounted permanent. They'll be mounted permanent down there. They're gonna stay there. I guess put them in there and brace them up and all that good stuff. But that's the story on that. Yeah, I always wanted a fat tire, skinny tire car. Never had one. I've had some fast cars, V8 Vegas with narrowed rear ends and all that. That was quick, but this here's got to be the quickest one because I plan on getting 600-700 horsepower out of that motor when I stroke it, and 10.5 compression with a biggest solid roller cam I can put in it to run on pump gas, 93 octane. But that's what we got right there. All right, trying to get all these body pieces lined up. When you cut a car, all the pieces and put it back together, I guess you're gonna have that kind of problem. But I got every bottle jack, every wood block, every floor jack, every wedge block. Every C-clamp. that I have in the shop, try to get this body lined up. I ain't got it yet, but I'm gonna shut it down for a day, take a break, and go in and edit some video. But anyway, the goal is to make it look kind of like a funny car. So I'm trying to think of a name of it. I need you guys to help me out. What would you name it? Put me a comment down there, let me know. Sorry, Red. I jacked the car up, you fell back against that roll cage back there. You alright, buddy? I think you broke my dang neck, you idiot. Can't move my eyeball side to side. Now you got to work on me some, now fix me. I live back in the woods to see my woman and the kids and the dogs and me. Yeah, I gotta get this body parts lined up, so be working on that. Try to build a rat rod. Hey Bob, quit trying to sing. Get me out of here, fix my eyeballs. Red, you just got to wait. I got a rat rod to build. I'll get to you after a while, buddy. Okay, what we're gonna do now? Line up the body. Yep, that looks pretty good. That ain't bad. Well, that ain't good. Put my hood pins in and then lean it over this way a little bit, so I picked me a long bolt with some nuts and thick washers on, double nut it, and straighten that up. That looks good. And where I put these hood pins in here, this was just a thin piece of sheet metal, so I welded me another plate over it. Double it up, make it stronger. When you build a rat rod, you don't need to weld out this solid. All you gotta do is tack it in there good, especially when you got a big bolt, 2 nuts going there. You ain't gotta weld it solid. Don't waste your time doing all that. Them tacks around there like I got, I'd be fine. That's all you need. I got them hood pins in. You notice it's leaning forward just a little bit. The reason I done that is so when that hood comes down, it'd be easier to get it on there. And another thing, when I get ready to open the hood, I have to come on each side of the car and pop it loose because it sticks on them hood pins. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to get me a spring out of like a battery, out of a starter, some kind of spring that ain't real strong to put on that. And when I shut the hood, I could just push it down, put the pin in it. When I pull the pin out, it'd kind of pop up, and the hood would be easy to open. We'll get to that in a little bit. I'm gonna paint down here where I welded this. Now, a lot of them rat rodders got a lust for rust, but I'm not a big fan of rust myself. It's just like a cancer, it don't never stop. If I want it to look like rust, I'm gonna paint it to make it look like rust. Yeah, well, it took most of the day, but I got the body lined up, good enough for rat rod. Got it welded down. It's on there now. It ain't coming off. I believe if I flipped it over a couple times, it would still stay on there. But what I was fighting is to get them body lines lined up down the side. I mean, it was all whoppy jawed yesterday, and that line down through there was all up and down. It was a pain, but I got it. I mean, it ain't perfect. It ain't perfect, but it's good enough for a rat rod. I'm very pleased with it. And the door is shut. Man, these doors shut. Took me a while just then, but man, them doors shut better than they did from the factory. They got that, what Ford calls drumming effect, and I ain't putting no insulation in there yet. I don't even know if I'm even worried about that. Man, what's a rat rod if it don't make some noise when you close the door? Them doors work good. And I started working on this piece. I got cut off and stuck in there, but what I'm gonna do, I'll bring this Fender line, this wheel well line on down natural, make it come out like here and down and up, and cut me a piece to kind of wrap around them pipe and come down there. It's gonna take a little time, but I want to make that look good. I got plenty of time, but that's what we're gonna do. Got old dead redneck fixed. There wasn't nothing to it. All I had to do was stick my hand up bottom of the jaw, reach up in there and grab one of them levers just past the position that when he fell against that roll cage, it knocked it out of the whack. Just another boy on the lost highway. What do you think, Red? Bob, I told you, you never would build a sign good as I can. Now get your butt over here and build me a rat rod. No, Red, I'm talking about, what do you think about the rat rod? I want to talk about my singing. Yep, it's looking all right. Got me a couple templates made. Kind of get that Fender, like I talked about, a natural line. Then so I'm gonna use 2 pieces of metal, just like the templates. But it's gonna, I don't know if you see back there or not. But yeah, just regular old stuff. Use a washer, the mark the circle, pencil, and these little magnets. These little magnets come in handy. Hold that stuff on. So it's easier to cut it out of the cardboard as metal, so I'm gonna go ahead and cut it out of metal. It's gonna take a little while, but then I'm gonna do the piece back there in the back. So I'm gonna do that one piece and that piece, and fit them on there and tack them on. Then I'm gonna make that back piece. Yeah, just in case you're wondering, this power tool here cuts curves. I cut that out with it, and I cut that out with it. So it do bore straight lines. Sometimes when you get in that sharp curve like that, you got to work with it. But matter of fact, in that aluminum, I cut a real sharp circle out of aluminum. The thicker the metal, the less sharp curve you can make with it. But this is 20 gauge. I cut that out with this. But you gotta do this one the old-fashioned way. You gotta make little bitty cuts in these curves. And I got these pointed snips. Matter of fact, when you look through there, when you close it, this one here had a little gap in there. It was kind of hard to cut. They didn't want to cut good, so what I did, put it in a vise, bend that one in, and get these 2 pieces closer together so it'll cut better. So if you got one that's old, that don't cut good, you could make it work on it and make it work better. I got them pieces tacked on there. Now I'll make a pattern for this piece. I got it where it's going to clear that header. Now what I want to do, I want to get that back edge even with the bottom of the door. So I'm going to use my straight edge. Put me a mark right there. That's going to be even with the bottom of the door. But I can't keep coming bottom of the door because it won't match hitting this up here. So what I got to do from there is to get on this angle. So what I want to do is kind of curve up a little bit. And kind of match this line there. Something like that. Ow! Oops. Burn a hole in it. No problem. Yep, I like stitches. But that's it. So I cut some little strips, sheet metal, put my brake, made a 90 out of, and braced everything up. Strong, like a gorilla, strong and ugly. It's gonna be it right there. Trials and errors of building a rat rod. Notice them pipe. Them zoomies don't stick out as far as on this side as they do the other side. See that? By the way, that's what that piece looks like. I don't know if you probably can't see it good. Well, I painted red, it'll show up a little better, but I like that. I'm happy with that. But yeah, a lot of people wouldn't even video this to put it on because they wouldn't want nobody to know they're screwed up. But hey, this is an instructional video. This is trial and errors building a rat rod right here. So, you know what? I got more pipe, ain't no problem. All I got to do is add some pipe on that. I don't know what happened. I didn't have the fenders on it when I built the zoomies for one thing. But anyway, I'm gonna go ahead and make the piece. And when I take that zoomie off, I'll weld me some more pipe on there and make it the same, make it stick out the same as the other side. Evidently the bottom's down a little lower on this side, but that won't be as noticeable as that pipe sticking out the side, as the pipe sticking out the side. So I'll make them stick out the side the same, and the other won't stand out as bad as that. So anyway, trials and errors build a rat rod. So watch out for it when you build yours. Oh, hey, and it ain't no big deal because you can always fix it. I can fix it. All right, got that side made. Still got to fit it. It ain't fitting a little bit nothing perfect, but that ain't nothing but a job for a hammer when I get it welded in. And I ain't even gonna mount them yet because I want to be able to get it to the fire. I got to put the firewall in first, and I want to be able to get to both sides. I don't want nothing in my way. Got to take them, zoom it. Might even take the motor out after I get firewall lined up, fitted. But the zoomies and that piece there got to come out, get out of my way. So I'm not going to mount it yet. But yeah, all I got to do is cut some short pieces of pipe on the other side, and they don't look, each side don't look the same, not asymmetrical, but I mean that's the beauty of a rat rod. They ain't got to be like that. Starter solenoid spring, old Chevy starter worked perfect for what I need there. I had to take a starter apart. I had to try it, but so I needed 2 of them. That's the only starter I had on the property. I couldn't believe it, but I gotta get me 2 of the spring like that. That'd be perfect. Rolling stone, all alone and lost. For this life of sin, I paid the cost. See, Bob, that's the way you sing. You need to build a rat rod. Let me be doing the singing around here. All right. Here we are again, another day, storm coming. But old Red, he wants me to build a rat rod, let him do the singing. I ain't been getting many comments on Red. I don't know if you guys like him or not, but I'd appreciate it. Leave me a comment. Let me know if you like Red or you rather him not be in the video or what. But anyway, this is gonna be a short video because I don't know if you guys paying attention or not, but I'm in southern Mississippi. I got a storm coming right up through the middle here, so I'm gonna do a short video. Then I'm gonna get batten down the hatches and tie down everything might blow away. There ain't no big deal. I've been through Katrina. I've been through bad storms, and Lord willing, I'll be all right. But anyway, I've been through storms, everything blowed away. But in that case, man, the Lord works in mysterious ways. I always build bigger and better if that happens. So it's no big deal. We'll get there. But anyway, this piece here, I decided I'm gonna come back, cut me enough pieces. I'm gonna lay that down and scribe out and cut me enough pieces of sheet metal to go on the back side of this to cover that ugliness up, to make that look better. Because when you open the hood, that's gonna stick out like a sore thumb. So I want to fix that. And stopped by the starter shop, and I said, man, you got any old solenoid springs for Chevrolet? Man, he went digging. He dug me out 3 of them, a new one and 2 old ones, and give them to me. And I was talking to him anyway about I need a souped up starter for this big old motor when I get it built. I want a good starter. And he gave me them, and I tried to pay him for them. He wouldn't take no money, so that's the way we are here in Mississippi. Yeah, I made these springs for my hood I was talking about, and I tacked them on some washers, painted them about spray can black. Bad thing about that spray paint, it takes so long to dry, but you take a heat gun and you dry them things out real quick with that heat gun. Now, I used to have an old oven up in here, and I take parts like that, and I done powder coating too. That's what I bought the oven for, but the oven quit. I ain't got it now. But anyway, you spray paint the parts, and you put that oven, turn that oven on about 400, and put them in there for about 15 minutes, and they'll be dry. And you talking about cure that paint, it'll be hard as a brick. But yeah, if you got the oven or a heat gun, you can make that paint dry and get hard pretty quick. All right, that's what that spraying looked like after I got it painted up. Took my heat gun, dried that paint. Man, I got 15 minutes, it was dry hard there. It was good, the heat gun to do it. But that's what it looks like. So now when that hood comes down, I can push it down, put that hood pin in. When I pull the hood pin, it'll pop up off of that hood pin, so it'll be easier to open the hood. But that was the plan with them. But it's gonna look something like that. I still got to do some adjusting, and on my flip front, got to do a lot of adjusting. But yeah, that's what it's for. Well, I just got paid today. Got me a pocket full of change. Bow, 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 bow. Hey, Red. What, Bob? I got your guitar coming. Huh? All right. I'll be the best guitar player in Mississippi. I'm already the best singer in Mississippi. I'll be the best guitar player too. You just watch, Bob. Yeah, I was waiting for the storm to get here last night, waiting and waiting and waiting, and I said, man. So I got on the computer, looked at the radar. Heck, it done passed over. It was already up in Alabama. It done way past me. We ain't even getting no storm. Sun shining today. I mean, it's hot and muggy. Ain't no breeze blowing. It's hot and muggy, but we didn't get no storm. But I got a new part. Got my shotgun, double barrel shotgun scoop in. Yep. So I just got it stuck up there to see what it looks like. And man, I I'm so tempted to just spray some red paint on that front cap and push this thing outside so I stand back and look at it. And I'm sure you guys know exactly what I'm talking about. If you build stuff, you can't wait to back up and look at it. Every time you do something, you want to get back there and back up and look at it. Well, that's the way I am. That's the reason I stuck that scoop up there. I want to see what it looked like. But yeah, stuck my old grill on there. I know you know what I'm talking about. Man, when you dream about doing something and you finally get to fulfill that dream, and it's just a good feeling that you can look back at your accomplishments and see what you accomplished there. But that's where I'm at right now. Just in case you wonder, you probably already noticed this, but I'm gonna say it anyway. What my plan is for the body of this car to be ratty. You know, it's gonna have them stitches. I'm gonna put antiquing on it to make it look like it's bare metal and paint done wore down and all that. But the drivetrain is gonna be 100%. It's got all brand new brakes, calipers, rotors, everything's brand new on the brakes. The motor's gonna be brand new when I get done with it. All full forwards, rotating assembly, and the best parts, roller cam, aluminum heads, all that good stuff. Transmission, I'm gonna rebuild it with a high performance rebuild kit and a high performance shift kit, and a 4,000 stall, 4,000 4,500 stall. So when I get to the rat rod event and I mash on the gas, I want that RPM to jump up to about 4,000 RPM, and that motor to be at full power from the get-go. And I already got the rear end built. It's a 9-inch Ford, 430 gears, full spool, 35 spline axles. And as you can see, the fuel system pretty much top notch. And I got that back brace on that 9-inch to brace it up a little bit, and then I just stuck the trunk lid on there. I got them hinges I made for it, but I ain't even got the pins in them right now. I just stuck it up there to get it out of my way. So now what I'm gonna do is get in, I'm gonna start building the firewall and putting the floor in it. And that's gonna be the next task, so I'm gonna get started on that. I went ahead and cut me some sharp pieces of exhaust pipe and added on to that header. So, looks about the same as the other side now. Let's see. About that. Close enough. Close enough for a rat rod. Hey, ball! What, Red? I don't like that new hat. That thing is ugly. Huh. Looked in the mirror lately, Red? Dream come true. Dream come true. Dream come true. I ain't gonna work like that. I'm gonna have to work at it to make it happen. Got one piece in. The magic is happening. We are on a roll. But man, I love building rat rods. The reason why is because you can't screw it up. You can't screw up a rat rod. This firewall, I'm making little bitty panels. I'm using cardboard templates for that because it's a little bit stiffer. But I'm making little panels. I got this one. It's gonna go right here, something like that. And I'm gonna make a little panel to go around that. It's gonna be, the firewall will be patched up like the body of the car. It's gonna be patches and stitches. So I can cut little pieces to fit and weld it on there, put stitches on it, and still make it look like a rat rod, make it look good. And it's a lot easier to make little pieces to build this firewall, especially a complicated one like I got. It's easier to make little pieces and fit them in and stitch it all up in there. Yep, small pieces, weld them together, patch it up. That's what I'm gonna do. And another thing that I've learned is when you get these panels made, you know you got to sand it if you're planning on painting it. Unless you just got a lust for rust and you're just gonna let it rust, but I like to paint my stuff. So yeah, but sand it before you weld it in, because it's a lot easier to sand it while it's out here than after you weld it up in that car. But that's what I do. I get the piece made before I weld it in. I sand it down so I get ready to paint it. All I gotta do is, man, them old blue jeans come in, make good rags for this kind of stuff. And if you build rat rods like me, you go through a lot of denim, wear it out pretty quick building these rat rods. It's gonna be fine. Well, I went down to the river, watched the fish swim by. And when I got to the river, so lonesome I wanted to cry, oh Lord. And then I jumped in the river, but the doggone river was dry. Hey, Bob, when is that guitar coming? That guitar will be here in a few days, Red. You can rock and roll then. Good, I'm ready to play me some music. Yo, lady, oh, lady, oh, lady. All right, I got half the firewall in. See, I just made a little plate, cut a slit in that side so I can slip it over that shaft. And when I pull the motor out, I'll make me a rubber boot to go on that. And when I pull the motor out, I'll finish welding it up. I'm gonna put stitches in it like that. And you guys will find out why I want all these stitches when I get this car painted. You'll see why I love stitches so much. I don't know if you've seen a close-up of my other rat rod, but I'll show you a close-up of this one when I get it done. But I got half the firewall in. Now I need to get the other half. Okay. Firewall, cut, install. Of course, I got to finish welding it up. I'm gonna wait till I get the motor out and do that. But one day, one firewall. Yeah, I just got my new comp cam kit in. Man, look at the lobes of that sucker. Looks like the Rocky Mountains to me. L693 8 308 duration 652. Square cam, same lift and duration on exhaust and all that stuff. Got the set of solid rollers. Come with the kit SK11-8. SK11-693-8 is the kit I got. Got the double roller, timing chain, comp cams, comp cam lifters. I'm a happy camper with that. Whoo, man! Talk about lopity-lope, Red. I got one piece of the floorboard made. I'm gonna do little pieces, just like the rest of everything else, firewall and everything else. When I get back here toward the back, I might make some bigger pieces. But I can't make them real big because most of them I gotta roll up the edge like that so I can weld the other pieces coming down to it. And same with these. My little old brake there don't handle, but I think 32 inches, so Yeah, 32 inches is about as long as the piece I can break with that. Of course, I didn't use it on that one. I used the old-fashioned way, hammer on the edge of the table to make that because it's got that curve in it. And well, let me show you something. Let me show you guys how to do that. Anyway, I don't have a stretcher. I just took these pliers that's bent since it's curved. I just bent it up a little bit, worked my way around. Took the hammer. And when I got that done, this piece here was, of course, because it was curved, it was curved up. So, and I ain't got no stretcher, but you put it on the edge of that anvil or any hard surface like that, and you start tapping like that, and that stretches that metal. And you just keep tapping and tapping, and eventually it straightens that piece out. Just keep tapping it against that, and it'll straighten that piece out. It'll stretch that metal and make that go that way. But yeah. Old Red's having a blast with that guitar. But got the floorboard in. It's rough looking. It's a rat rod. But I'm gonna come back and put a rubber mat over this anyway. You ain't gonna see none of this. After I paint it, I got some of that conveyor belt material. I'm gonna make a full rubber floor here. Next thing I get, Red, I'm trying to tell these people about the rat rod here. Now you got to calm down a little bit. Bite me. Well, people say I'm no good, crazy and a loon. I'm getting ready to make these wheel tubs, these fender wells. But before I do, I don't know if you notice how close the tire is to the fender there, especially up at the top. You can't see it. Let's see. Yeah, now you can see it. Okay. That fender needs to go out. And if you look down the side there, you see it needs to come out and match the rest of the car. So I got to get that out and brace it. I got to get that lined up before I put the fender wells in. But what I cut me a 2x4, just a little shorter. And I use a wedge block. Man, you need a wedge block. If you ain't got one, if you got a shop, you ain't got a wedge block, at least one, you need to stop what you're doing right now and get you a 4x4 and a saw and cut you some wedge blocks. That's the best thing in the world right there. But anyway, I use that and tap it down. I get that fender shoved out where I want it. Now I'm gonna put me a brace with that little 1/2-inch square tubing I got from the frame over to that fender well to hold it out on both sides of the car. And then I'm gonna run some other braces straight across for the wheel tub to weld to. About 3 of them, one there, one on top, one in the front. But that's what I got so far. Anyway, you see I got plenty of clearance now. Don't have to worry about the tire rubbing down. As compared to this side, I'm going to do this side the same way. And it's pretty much lined up with the rest of the car. And it ain't got to be perfect as a rat rod. I just want to make sure the tire don't rub. That's the main thing. But we got it now. All I got to do is weld a brace in there. Okay, I got my fender brace in. And I got another brace that the wheel well is going to weld to. I kind of put it on an angle that I think the wheel well is going to come in. And I use my square to get it square with the frame. And use my level to get it level. I put it a little distance from the tire in case I decide to put a fatter, taller tire on it, or that tire's gonna swell a little bit when the RPM gets up, so hopefully I got enough room for that. But anyway, got one here. We're gonna put one in the front of the tire, same way, and one at the top. And we gotta allow plenty of room at the top for the, I got about 6 inches that the rear end can come up before it hits the frame, so I'm gonna allow 6 inches up on top of the wheel well. So, and I'm probably gonna put a bumper on the frame in case the rear end ever does come all the way up to the frame. I'm gonna put a bumper on that so it hit that before it hits the wheel, before the tire hits the wheel well. Okay, more trials and errors of building a rat rod, but I knew this was going to happen because I could see it coming. But anyway, I need to take these tires and wheels off so I can build them fender wells in there. But they won't come off. I ain't got room. Don't have room to get them off. But I knew this was going to happen when I built the car. That was going to be a problem. I thought I might be able to just let the air out of the tire, but I still ain't enough room. I got 2 options. I either take the brake calipers off. Well, I got 3 options. I can take the brake calipers off, or I can undo the shocks so the rear end will drop down further. Or option number 3, which is the one I'm going to go for, I'm gonna take my body saw and cut part of that fender out right there. And then I'm gonna weld some tabs on it with some holes so I can bolt it on or unbolt it when I get ready to take the wheel off. So it'll be easier if I gotta take the wheel off than it would be to take the calipers off or undo the shocks every time I gotta take the wheel off. So yeah, rat rod. We're gonna make it functional where it's easy to work with. But yeah, that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna cut that out so that tire come off. Maybe had to let the air out of it at the most, but might not even have to do that when I get through sawing up on the body. But I'm gonna make it where I can bolt that back in or unbolt it out, either one. Yeah, I remember back when they made cars, they had these anyway and bolt on like this. Hey, don't be scared to get the saw out and start cutting on your rat rod. Yep, got my wheel wells cut out, smoothed up, tires off of it. I started working on this wheel well over here. I said, man, I'm gonna show you how I make that. When I do the next one, I'm gonna video it. But, I was all up underneath this fender well, trying to work from inside there, hitting my head on everything to be hitting your head on, trying to get up in there with the welding hood on. And I got to think, I said, man, there's gotta be a better way. I said, wait a minute. I got a rotisserie out there. I want you to be smart, Bob. Put the thing up on rotisserie. That way you can turn it any way you want, upside down, sideways, and you can get to it better. So that's what I'm going to do. I built this rotisserie. This ain't nothing but I got some friends that work in the oil field around where I live here in Baxterville. They got oil field all over the place. But anyway, this is just something I got from them out of the oil field. 2 different size pipe, smaller pipe and a bigger pipe that goes over it. Weld some nuts, drill a hole, cut a hole. I just burn a hole. This thing looks rough. See the way I do stuff? I got tools to make real perfect holes and all that. But I don't need that. I just need it to work. So I get the cutting torch and blow a hole in it and make it work so I can carry on with business. So my stuff looks rough, but the reason is I don't want to take time to make it look beautiful because I ain't worried about beautiful. I'm worried about functional. But anyway, I weld these nuts on here so I could adjust all this. I got fine threaded bolts so I get a better tight. But it go this way, this will go up or down, side turn all kind of ways, this will go up or down. And these go on here, and they adjust. So yeah, this thing is real simple. If you need a rotisserie, you can build one if you got any fabrication skill at all, and a cutting torch and weld machine and some old pipe. This is just square tubing that I picked up off a job somewhere. But yeah, it's just real simple stuff. Oops, got another scratch in the rat rod. I got these bolts on, I put on the end to keep stuff from falling all the way through. You'll see in a minute why. That's why. That's just going in bolting. I got some holes through my 2x3 chassis. I'm gonna bolt that to the. Okay, what I got is this is gonna be the part of the fender tub. I just bent up 1 inch all the way around. This is going to weld the fender tub. This is going to be up underneath the car. I ain't going to see this. And I cut this out so I can get over there in, because I got to put it in there and mark where the frame's at so I can cut this to fit the frame. So I got that piece stuck in there, clamped, so I can mark it where I need to cut it. That's why I had to cut the slot so it'll fit over there in. Yeah, I don't know if you can see in there, but I need to come here and mark all the way around. All the way around the frame, because I want this to weld to the frame. So I'm gonna mark the backside there and see what we got. So I got the original mark along the frame. And this is, I'm gonna cut it off there. This part here, I don't even need this. I just made this bigger. So, but yeah, I'm gonna trim it off right there. But anyway, I got the new line where I'm gonna cut. That'll give me a 1/4 inch of the frame showing from the back side, so I can weld this to the frame after I get it cut, get it in place. That's the plan anyway. Now, that's what it looked like after I got it cut. It's gonna weld to the frame. It's gonna go right there, gonna weld to the frame. The way I done this, I had to, of course, since it's curved, I had to cut these slots or do a lot of metal shrinking, and it ain't worth it because this is gonna be hidden anyway. I'm gonna weld that, but I use this dolly right there at the hammer to go around and get that kind of straight. That dolly right there, got that heavy part, work perfect. But anyway, that's what I use for that. All right, this is what that piece looked like after I cut it out to fit the frame. It's gonna weld to the frame all the way around. Well, tack it all the way around. I ain't gonna weld it solid, but put tacks all along to the frame. Problem is, they got this part of my roll cage right there that's sticking out too far. So I'm going to cut a notch. I'm going to cut a notch in this piece so it'll go over far enough. So trial and error is building a rat rod. It's going to be, since it's on an angle and that way and angle this way, it's going to be, I probably ain't be able to get it cut perfect. I might have to just cut it out a little bigger and put some patch panel around or something. But it's a rat rod. I'm going to make it look like a rat rod. All right, it took me about 30 seconds to loosen the bolt right there. And turn my rat rod where I can get to this backside. See, now I can get to this backside back here and mark that roll cage bar easier. I don't have to climb up in the car, getting open. All I gotta do is turn the car to get where I want it at. Yeah, rotisserie. Build you one. So what I got here, I got stuff cut out where to go in there. A nut, I can trim it a little bit, but I'm gonna tack it together. What I got here, I clamped this piece to the table so I can pull this piece tight to make it fit tight. Clamp this in so I can. And another thing, I'm taking this dolly on the inside on them corners and hitting it with the hammer to get some of that curve out, so from the other side it'll look decent. So that's what I've done right there before I tacked it. After I dolly it down in the spot, I'm gonna tack it right there as I work my way around, and same thing on this side. I want to show you guys the importance of having a good ground when you weld it. Okay, I got the ground on the table there. I mean, I didn't mean to do that, but anyway, I'm gonna show you what happens when I strike an arc with it like that. Hear it popping? When you got that, it's because you ain't got a good ground. Okay, I'm gonna ground it over here on the piece of metal I'm working on, and watch the difference. So that's why you gotta have a good ground when you MIG welding. If it's popping, you need to clean the ground surface or something. You ain't got a good ground. Make sure you got good copper ground. All right, it's gonna fit. Ha! I gotta come back, trim around the edges, but and that one piece of 1/2 inch, I'm gonna have to move it. I'm gonna take it out and move it. But anyway, what I gotta do is weld it in, but we all know you can't weld the paint unless you got a hot arc welder. Hot stick welder, you weld through paint, but MIG welder or no. So what I do, I take a sharp soapstone, which I sharpen on my bench grinder or side grinder, whichever one I got handy. Well, that's the bench grinder you hear winding down over there now. But what I do is take where I want to weld at, I just put me a mark. I just put me a mark in the few spots I want to tack weld it. So when I take it out, I just take it out, take the grinder, grind it where that mark's at. So I won't have to grind the whole bunch. I need to grind the little spots where the mark's is at. But that's what I do. I just mark it all the spots I want to tack weld, and then I know where I want to grind. I don't have to grind more than I need to. All right, there's a wheel tub after I got it welded up, ready to go in. Yep, and it fits. It actually fits. So, I'm a happy camper. Okay, rotisserie, please don't break. Lord help me. Well, that was dumb. That was real dumb. Alright, I made me a tool. Show you what I'm gonna do with it. Just a little simple piece of sheet metal, drill some holes in. I got my pencil that'll go sharp where to go through that hole. And I need to get this cut, so I'm gonna use this. I'm gonna get my widest point there, so I use that hole, which will work all the way around. So I'm gonna start here. That's the point of my tool, follow that body line. And I'm just thinking outside the box. I mean, I ain't never done this before. I just come up with this idea just a few minutes ago. So, sometimes you gotta think outside the box. See what I'm doing? I got that pencil in there. Try to hold that piece square. Now I should be able to cut that piece of metal and it should fit. Yep, that'll work. You know, actually, I learned how to do that from my dad, God rest his soul. He used to build houses. I probably 7, 8, 9 years old when I learned this. I ain't never forgot it. But he was build houses, and sometimes he had to get something like that, and he'd take another board or whatever and scribe something like this. And that's what made me think about how to do this. Is remember my dad used to scribe stuff, and I learned some. You talking about learning some stuff with that man. But I'm talking about I was real young, and I remember like it was yesterday how to scribe stuff like that. Now I can't get a clamp in there. Not easy anyway. I got these super strong rare earth magnets. Get them on eBay, but anyway, I got some. But these suckers here hurt you. They got a lot of power, but anyway, I'm gonna use it to hold that in place so I can mark it instead of a clamp. Yep, magnet. Need magnets built in rat rods. Dang it. Man, if I ever fall out of an airplane, I'm gonna grab a hold bit of an air hose or a stitching cord, because they always gonna get hung up on something. Alright, I got one side done finally, and past experience says that once you do one, the second one's a lot easier. But yeah, hope so. It's coming along. Dream come true. Dream come true. Man. I already got my fender well cut out, 16 inches by 4 foot. I got me 3 lines, 4 inches apart, that I need to roll the bead in it after I get this sheet metal rolled. So I want to make sure the marks is on the other side. And I got me a little table made there. But the main thing when you're doing this is make sure the sheet metal's square with these rollers when you start. adjust that and we'll see what happens. Need a bigger shot. Need a bigger shot. That'll work. First time. I got this little cheap bead roller I got from, I guess I got it off eBay or something, but you can get them off freight, different places, about $190 I think I paid for it. And it's a pain in the butt to do it by yourself. And you can forget that piece, that Fender weld, you can forget about getting it perfect if you by yourself trying to do this. I mean, it's just cheap rig, got on a wobbly old mount. And of all the things I've got around here that's got a motor on it, this is the #1 thing that needs a motor, but I ain't got it. But I've done one with it. I'm gonna try to do this one. That's one, not too bad. It's a rat rod. Not too bad. But boy, Connington, rest his soul, if I was to get a job with him, he'd fire me first day. Seeing this. Wouldn't last no time with him. American Hot Rods, that was a good show. My favorite line is, and I've used it myself, you don't have to be a good grinder. No, you don't have to be a good welder. You just have to be a good grinder. And that's the way I am. I ain't a good welder, but I'm a damn good grinder. That's the way I am. I ain't a good welder, but I'm a good grinder. Yep, off the line now. It's almost impossible to do by yourself like this, but I'm working at it. It ain't gonna be perfect, but not too bad, good enough for a rat rod. Close enough. Yep, that might be too close, but anyway, it's a rat rod, but it's looking all right. I did use my new tool a good bit on this stuff there. My scribe tool, I didn't video all that, but you know how the scribe tool works, and so yeah, I use it quite a bit on all of this stuff. The old scribe tool. Man, I need to start making them and put them on and sell them on eBay or something. That's what I'm going to do. I'm gonna do a video of how to use a scribe tool, and I'm gonna put them suckers. I'm gonna make me some and sell them. So if you want one, leave me a comment. I'll see about making some. Now I got to work on the other side. I was getting started, but got the side panel in. So now, and these big panels here, I'm gonna put some square tubing across for bracing, and I'm probably gonna make them out of double up some of that aluminum I got and have them where I can bolt them on or take them off. So I can access shocks or whatever I need to back there. So that's the plan. I still got to do driveshaft loop here, then another driveshaft loop here before I make this panel. I got to do that loop. So yeah, that's where we're at so far. Back to serious work. Now what I'm going to do here, I'll put this panel, I got a piece just cut a little bit big. I'm going to make this panel, I'll make it a little bit big, I can trim it up. And I take my super strong rare earth magnet and put it there to hold it in place so I can get my scribe tool on the back side. I got to cut it. I'm just going to use a scribe tool to get back there. Okay, I put that piece against that side panel and I got on the back side with my scribe tool, and it's a little curve to it, and I want to put a 90-degree angle on this where it fits against it so I can get the back side on the fender weld and tack it so it'll look kind of neat. But anyway, since it's on an angle, I can't use my brake. So I'm gonna put me a mark about 1/4, 3/8 or so. I made it longer so I can, after I get it all fitting, I can trim it to get it to fit. But I'm gonna go ahead and take about 3/8 of an inch there. I have to keep turning this straight edge to make it match that curve. But yeah, something like that. And take my flat end pliers, and I have to bend it. Have to bend it manually, can't use a brake. Well, what I do is just grab a little bit of time to start. You guys probably already know how to do this, but ain't it fun watching old redneck do this stuff? Now I'll come back and do a little more. Do it some more. What I went and done, as old shop dog Sam would say, I cut a notch in that so it fit over this and it go down. Sort of come down there a little bit so I can. And I went and took my grinder with the flot wheel on it and grinded out some paint there, spots where I can weld at. So that's gonna come down a little bit right there. And I'm gonna weld it and get that fitting a little bit better over there and weld it to that panel. But that's the way I'm doing this one. And then when I get all that fitting good, I'm gonna come on the back side, scribe me a line to cut this off to make it even with the edge of that, and probably had to cut some off the top too. So get it all fitting, then I can trim it up where it fit, rest of it. But yeah, that's what I've done, went and done. Now I'm making a Driveshaft loop. I gotta make 2 of them. This is gonna be from front. When I got here, a piece of old recycled 1/8 inch thick flat sheet metal. What it is old doors off old welding machine I got from my buddy in the oil field. Man, you need a buddy in the oil field. It had these stainless steel hinges on it. And man, you could do some stuff with these things. That's how I made the trunk lid hinges on the Falcon here, the old demon-possessed Falcon. Cut me a couple pieces of this, and man, it's just all kind of things. Works perfect. You cut wherever you need, make hinges out of it. But anyway, a buddy worked in the oil field, old welding machine, cut doors. But anyway, this here ain't high enough, so I can cut some air to it. And I got this 7-inch blade on this D-Walk grinder as a cutoff. And don't ever put a 7-inch blade on a grinder and start cutting with it. Unless you're stupid like me. I'm using that 7-inch wheel because my son works in the plants down there in Louisiana on Mississippi River. He gave me a bunch of these blades. I usually use the 4.5-inch blade for it as a grinder, but I had a stack of these 7-inch wheels. I said, man, I know it's dangerous, but I'm gonna use them. I'll be very, very careful with it. But yeah, don't ever use them. Might hurt yourself. I just got my finger. I don't know if you see it or not. Even had the glove on. Went through the glove, got into my finger a little bit. So yeah, hole in my glove, got into my finger, but thank God it wasn't too bad. But them things are dangerous, so don't ever use that. Don't be stupid. Now I got this 2-inch wide piece of 1/8 sheet metal. I need to bend it to make my rear Driveshaft loop. Got the front one made. This is what I made. Yeah, get on this round edge of this table. This table is a little bit rounded. And just start. I know what the drag racer's gonna say, an 1/8 inch ain't thick enough for a Driveshaft loop. And you're probably right, but I ain't gonna be doing no serious drag races. It's gonna be a rat ride. I'm gonna have fun with it a little bit, but it ain't gonna be nothing serious. Something like that. It'd be 6 inches wide. We got 6 inches, 8 inches. We're 9 inches tall, so I might trim those off. Yeah. Shape it up. I'm gonna do a little more shaping and get it perfect. But yeah, that's the way you do that. All right, I got my Driveshaft loops built, welded in. So I got these panels on each side for a fender tub. So now I come in and build this panel. Gonna come up back here down across. Then this panel will be next. Be going from here to there. And then the one on top over the shocks be next. Then you get in the back and weld some battery boxes and fill in around that, blow around that fuel tank. And so yeah, got a lot of work to do. But yeah, now I can carry on. Got my rear driveshaft loop was holding me up on that piece. So I had to put that in before I can build that piece. So that's next. Then the transmission tunnel, and then dash, and got a lot of work to do, so better get after it. Yeah, I got my rotating assembly in. That's a scat forward crank right there, 4 1/4 stroke. Forged, race balance to less than a gram. Got the balance upgrade on that. Skip white performance. Got the forged pistons. 30cc dome. With aluminum heads I got coming, it's gonna make it 10:5 compression ratio. So I'll be able to run pump gas. Yeah, got the whole set of them. Got the 8-beam rods with ARP, real high spec bolts. I got the upgrade on the bolts, upgrade on rod sizing to make sure both ends of the holes in the rods are exact right size. I got all the bearings, rings, head bolts, rocker arm, ARP stuff, rocker arm stud. I got the dart, adjustable valve guides, push rod guides. Got the stainless intake bolts. Got a upgraded high performance flex plate there. Upgraded balancer. Yeah, that's just a tip of the iceberg of all the new parts I got. But anyway, the block's fixing to go to the shop with the pistons, so I can so he can bore it out. It's gonna be 60 over. It's gonna be 496 cubic inches when I get done with fully forged rotating assembly. Skip white performance is where I'm getting that from. Tennessee, not too far north of me. But yeah, I got the old motor block loaded up, fixed to go to town, dump it off, and I'll be back and get back to building on the old rat rod, the old demon possessed Falcon right there. All right, done went and made some more panels, put them in, put a coat of paint on them. Got some panels in the back too. I still got to make this one panel here. I got to put the gas. I just painted this. I'm gonna come back tomorrow, put the tank back in so I can fit this other panel. This other panel right there, then I'll be done with panels. But yeah, I just put a coat, spray bomb coat of paint on it. But I'm gonna antique it. I'm gonna rub some silver over it, make it look like bare metal when it's all done with. But yeah, got some panels in. Done went and done that. Okay, I got it all. I got it all I got the panel laid out where I want it. Okay, now the fun part, roll the beads out. When you by yourself, usually they got a table, that big old table lays flat with just a bead roller there, and then they got motors and all that stuff. I ain't got none of that. Okay, so I gotta do it the hard way. Okay, what I do, that's what the end point is for. You line that end point up with your shaft, then you get your bead lined up with the mark. Like I said, around the table and all, it's tough by yourself. what I usually do when it touches is go about 1.5 round. I don't want to go too deep by myself. It's harder, the deeper it is, the harder it is to turn. If you get off the mark, don't hurry up and get back on, or you have a curve in it. I go right there to the end point. That's one bead. Now I get over to the other one, get the end point lined up, get it lined up centered. Go by the same depth. If you start a little bit off the line, is it better just to kind of let stay all the way off that same amount all the way down, so you won't have no curves in that bead. But like I said, it's almost impossible by yourself, so. That's 2 beads. All right, I've went and done it again. Transmission tunnel, getting it framed up. Gonna try to put an access panel, the screws on here and on the other side, so I can get to the shift mechanism, and on the other side I can get to the cooling lines. I like to make stuff easy to work on. These top panels, I'm gonna have them where they'll come screw on or screw off to get to the drive shaft or whatever. Like to have stuff easy to work on. Yeah, I got a transmission tunnel framed up. Now covering it, and as usual I use small pieces, and what I do here, I cut just a flat piece, set it down there, and then bend it, and then lay it over that way, get on the back side and mark it to get the right size. Then I'll lay it on there, weld the side that fits flat, and take my hammer and beat it in submission until the other side fits. Like this piece here, it was like that. This end was way up. So I welded these 2 sides, and then I took my hammer and beat that side down till it beat it into submission. But yeah, that's the way I'm doing them. But little pieces makes it a lot easier. If you want to cut one whole piece to make yours, man, good luck. It can be done, but man, you talking about some work. But these little pieces makes it a lot easier to get this stuff done like that done. My opinion, anyway. Okay, got my 2 rolls, cordless side grinders, and they don't have high RPM. Of course, we knew that. They're real good. You grab it with 1 hand and take off with it. You don't need 2 hands. Better to get in tight places. It's still a little bit big, but man, it beats those cordless ones as far as getting in tight places and everything. Batteries, of course, don't last long, as you could imagine. But I charge one. I change the battery, put the one in the charger. By the time I need it, one goes dead, the other one's charged up. Plus, I got 2 more batteries coming. So battery is not a problem so far. But yeah, work good for little stuff. I can use it. I'm making some panels there. I thought I was done with panels, but I ain't near about done with panels. But for stuff like that, it works perfect. And I ain't tripping over no extension cord. So yeah, I'm liking it. I got 2 of them. I got grind the wheel on one, cut off wheel on the other one. Of course, I hadn't used the cut off wheel yet, but I got it if I need it. Getting there, transmission tunnel. Still got a couple more pieces. Dash. I still got to cut holes for the gauges. I don't know what all gauges I'm gonna use, what size yet. So, but anyway, that piece is screws in, so I can unscrew it, fit gauges and switches or whatever I need there, and screw it back in. This piece here is also screwed in, so I can take it off, get down to whatever I need to. And I got an access panel on this side. I got my plate out of 10 gauge for my shifter. Yep. And I got an access panel like this on the other side too, so I can get to the shift linkage and all. So I like to make stuff easy to work on me. Red's right there working undercover. Yep. When I broke out the spray paint, well, actually I used a gun, big gun, well, medium-sized gun, spraying that black. Red decided he wanted to go undercover. He just had a fresh paint job a while back, a new facelift. Red did a while back, so he didn't want to mess that up. So he wanted to go undercover. And when I got done painting, he seemed to be liking undercover, and I liked it even more than he did. So Red's gonna continue working undercover for a couple of days. Okay, got my engine block back from the machine shop. Got it bored out, so it's bored 60 over to fit the new pistons in the stroker kit. Now, even though I paid to have the block cleaned, when you get a block back from the machine shop, you need to do a thorough wash job. It's they got little metal shavings all over it, because I think what they do is they clean it and then they do the machine work and they don't clean it after that. So, but anyway, I got to come back. I got to run the tap through all the head bolt holes, clean the thread. Got to chase the threads, they call it. And I'm gonna do the same thing on the mains. I'm gonna chase the threads on the head bolt holes and the main bolt holes. And I gotta come in and lift the bores and hone the lifter bores out. And clean. As you see, it ain't clean. So first thing to do is get all the threads chased, and then start doing some major cleaning on it. That's the number one first thing I got to do to it. Yeah, when you rebuild the engine, I always run a tap through all the holes just to make sure they're clean. You see all these head bolt holes, you can feel they're not perfectly clean, because when you're going in, it's kind of tough. And once you get past a certain point, it gets easy. And then when you take it out, it comes out easy, so you know it wasn't clean to start with. You ain't got to clean the holes if you don't want to. You'll probably be all right. But man, if you're going to spend as much money on the motors as what I spent on this one, you don't want to leave anything out, especially something as simple as this. So I gotta thoroughly clean the block anyway, so I need to get all this kind of stuff here done So when I clean it, it'll be clean. I can start putting it back together. There won't be no more machine work be done. Yeah, I got to chasing these threads, and they started winning the race with this old hand tool. So I broke out the power tool. Gotta be real careful with this, so make sure you get it started straight. But after I broke out the power tool, I started winning the race, chasing them threads. I don't have a hone out lifter bores, but I do have these port polish sandpaper thing. But you can take anything around, put a piece of tape around it. It's just a folded up piece of 180 paper for my orbital sander. There's your hone right there. Right there, there's your home. Duct tape, anything around, piece of sandpaper. Now that I got the motor, all the threads chased, all the lifter bores honed out, everything completed, the machine work I call it. Now it needs a thorough cleaning, so I got to mix up the soap and water, and I'm probably gonna put some purple power in there with it, and maybe even a little lacquer thinner. Make me a potion to wash that block. It's got to thoroughly be cleaned now before assembly. One tip on these motor stands, matter of fact, anything I got around here that's got wheels on it like that, the first thing I do before I even use it, I turn upside down to oil up all those wheels, the bearings and the shafts, everything. It sure makes them roll a lot easier. I do that on that. My floor crane out there, I even done it to a rotisserie, all up those wheels every time before I use it, because it's a lot of sand up here where I live, and that sand to get in there and makes it hard to roll. A little oil, clean it up, oil it down, makes it roll a lot better every time. Okay, after I got the block thoroughly clean, put several coats of paint on it, same color as the car. Got it ready to put together. First thing I'm going to do is put the camshaft in, because it makes it a lot easier to put the cam in when you don't have the crankshaft sitting in there in your way. So I got the cam bearing lubed up. Got the cam lubed up. Since it's a roller cam, you don't have to have the break-in stuff. All you need is some oil on it. So I use a little motor oil, which is a good heavy-duty diesel motor oil, and mix a little bit of Lucas in it, make it a little bit thicker to put this stuff together is what I use. A little bit more. There it is. So what I'm looking for is that load to be lined up with that hole right there. Looks like it's pretty close. It's a little bit to the back, but that we can live with that. Man, look at that big old lumpy load rolling around down in there. Okay, I got my scat forged crank out of the box, cleaned up, hosed down, washed off, blowed out. That's what one looks like when they do a highly polish on the journals. I got the main bearing stuck in dry. I ain't putting no oil on. I'm gonna set the crank on the dry bearings. Then I'm gonna use some plastic gauge and put the top bearings on and just check. I'm assuming the clearance is exactly right. Skip White should know what they're doing, but I'm gonna double check to be sure. Okay, I put main caps on with the bearings dry, torque them down to about 50 pounds with this little piece of plastic gauge on top of the journal. I set the piece of plastic gauge on top of the journal and put the cap on. And when these whips is going to tell me the clearance when I pull this piece out. So we'll see what's going to happen. When I take them off, we're going to see what it looks like. Okay, there's a piece of plastic gauge. And if we look at the gauge at this, then we line it up. I don't know if you can see that or not, but to me it looks like 0.003. Perfect. Exactly what we want. That's perfect right there. Okay, there you have it. All the caps off. So after checking, we come between 0.003 and 0.004. This one's not 4. It's more or less 0.0035 is what that is. So, but yeah, they're all perfect. I'm talking about exactly what we want. I don't know, you can't hardly see it. You see that one. But yeah. Skip White Performance have done a good job on that. That's exactly the way it's supposed to be right there. ARP main studs. If it comes apart, it ain't gonna be because I use cheap parts. Use the ARP main stud, ARP head bolts, ARP rocker arm studs, all that good stuff. All right, got the ARP studs in. I don't have them torqued all the way down yet, but I got them run down pretty snug. And the main thing is to check to make sure the crank turns free. If it turns free like that, you good. These little old clips is pain in the butt to install, but I'm gonna show you the way to do it. First thing you do, take that clip, you stretch it out. About like that. Yep, they fall right in when after you get started. But if you're gonna try to put it in without stretching it out like I'm doing, you waste your time. Yeah, I watched the master mechanic install these. That's how I know. That's what you do. Stretch it out about that much to start with. Okay, setting the end play on the crankshaft. Got a dial indicator set there, and take a screwdriver, put in there, pry it one way and then pry it the other way. And if you watch the dial indicator, when I do that, it moves about 5 thousandths. Which is acceptable. 5 to 7 is the optimum. 10 would probably be the maximum. Any more than 10, you probably got it too much slack. All right, and this one, I had about 10 before I put the main cap on. And when I torqued it down, I didn't have any in play. So I had to loosen the main cap up and tap it side to side to get it in the right spot, where when I torque it down, I still got in play. So you got to make sure you got all the caps torqued down before you check your in play. If you had some before you put the rear main on where the thrust bearing is, then you put the rear main cap on and you don't have any, then you need to wiggle the cap around a little bit, tap it side to side, loosen it up a little bit, tap it side to side. The main object is when you get the rear main, all the mains and the rear main torqued down, you should have a minimum of 4 or 5, and we good. Now these spiral wrist pin locks are a pain in the butt. The best thing to do is when you get the spiral lock out of the pack is go ahead and stretch it to where it'll be about, I'd say, ½ inch wide stretched out. And then you get one end and you use something wood. I use ice cream stick. Once you get it started, you take that stick and you can roll it around to get it in there. Don't use metal because you don't want to scratch your piston or none of that stuff. Use wood is the best thing. And no, I don't eat a lot of ice cream. I buy these sticks by the bundle because I use them to stir paint, like from an air gun and all kind of stuff. You need ice cream sticks building a rat rod. Installing the oil rings. These particular pistons got an extra ring that goes in the oil ring groove, and it says to install it with a dimple down over the wrist pin. So and then the notch is going to be off to the side of the wrist pin. And slide it down to the bottom of the groove. Alright, my dot's over the wrist pin right there. Then you install the oil ring on top of all that. And I always stagger all my gaps on everything. I don't never have 2 gaps on anything lined up. Okay, oil rings in. And you get the other 2 and stick it in the vise with the old piece of cut off overalls. Ring expander, you need a ring expander. I used to do it with fingers, stretch them rings out. But man, it's tough on the finger. This little old tool here, less than 10 bucks. Makes it a lot easier. But you buy some ring, the Hastings are numbered 1, 2, 3. I mean, top groove, second groove, third groove. So I need the second groove next. And it's got a dimple on top, and the instructions said it's got a dimple on top, but the dimple goes up. And you use your ring expander, you stretch that ring just enough to go over the piston to get down in the slide. And then what I do, I turn that groove the other side. Number 1, compression ring, top ring, don't have no dot, it goes either way in this particular case. the ring expander in there. Stretch it just enough to get over the piston. So I got a top ring notch here, second notch over there, and the oil ring gaps all staggered. Now checking the ring end gap, you need to do that. Make sure you got enough gap. And the way this one's set up, I mean, you could Google it and do the calculations, but what I need is this is my second compression ring. It's the second ring, and usually you take a piston and shove down in there to get the ring perfectly square. But in my case, with the dome pistons, I can't use them. They won't work. So I use a ruler. In this particular case, I just get that ring 1 inch down in there all the way around, and then it's square. Then I can take my feeler gauge. In this case, I got a 20 thousandths. That's what I need on this ring, and that's what I got, 20 thousandths right there. So I've already checked them in all the bores. Everything's good. Now the compression ring is going to be just a little bit tighter. First thing I got to do to get it down in there the right amount all the way around, get it down about 1 inch. If I had a flat top piston, it'd make life a lot easier. 18 thousandths on the compression ring, top ring, and that 18 thousandths is a snug fit. I don't have a 17 feeler gauge, but that's what it should be. And that 18 is a snug fit, so we perfect. Now I'm installing the bearings on these rods. One thing, you don't never mix up the rod cap. Rod cap goes with that rod, don't go with any other rod. So if you just take one off at a time and put it back on the same rod and make sure you don't mess them up. But the first thing I'm going to do before I put the bearings in, I'm going to wipe all oil with a perfectly clean piece of t-shirt. Don't want no oil on them bearings. I want it perfectly clean. Then match the groove up. And start your bolts in. They got special lube that comes with these bolts. This right here. ARP torque assembly lube. When I get ready to put them together, I put that lube on the bolts. But right there, I'm just getting these ready to, getting the bearings on. I got the rings on them already, getting the bearings on, getting ready to put pistons in the hole. Torque lube on them ARP 2000 bolts. Motor oil, Lucas, a little bit of both. And I always turn the reins a little bit, smear that oil around, and then make sure rain gaps are separated. Yep, this is the fun part right here. With old cheap ring compressor, sometimes it works out, sometimes it don't. What I do to these rods, I just run them up with my little old impact. And I'm gonna come back and torque them all later after I get them all in. Okay, I got the timing chain installed. I want to set up my degree wheel, but before I do that, gotta have top dead center, true top dead center. And the way I'm going to get that is with my dial indicator on top of the piston. And since I don't have the harmonic balancer on it yet, I'm using the flywheel. So, so what I got, let me see what we got. Okay. All right, 0, that's all the way up. Now I want to turn it until I get 10 degrees in the hole, right there. And I got me a mark right here. That's 10 degrees in the hole. Now I want to go the other way. Get back to center. I want to get 10 degrees in the hole the other way. It's gonna put me right there. Now, I got another mark, 10 degrees the hole the other way. So what I do, I get dead center of them 2 marks. So I'm 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. This is top dead center right here. If I line this mark up with that right there, I'm top dead center. Right there. We top dead center right there. True top dead center. So now I gotta get my degree wheel top dead center lined up with my marker right there. Okay, cam timing. So we're on top dead center right there. I got my degree wheel set up with my pointer at top dead center. Now, intake center line 106. So the way we check that, we're going to turn the motor the way of rotation until the intake lifter gets all the way up. That's the first step. Okay, I'm trying to get this, it's kind of hard to do it by myself, but I'm going to set the camera up there. Hopefully you can see the degree wheel and the dial indicator. The first thing I want to do is turn the motor until the lifter is up. Okay, it's coming up. I want to get it all the way up. And we'll know that because dial indicators start going backwards. All right, that's all the way up right there. So now what we're going to do, we're going to back the motor up till we get about on that 90, we're going to back it up to about 10 thousandths. I'm going to use the screwdriver back here on the flex plate so I can turn it easy. Okay, that part don't have to be perfect. Now, we're going to turn it till it gets on to 5, and we're going to read a degree wheel. Degree wheel says 88. Well, let's call it 89. It's kind of hard to see. You won't be able to see perfect, but 89. Okay, write that down. 89. Okay, I got it wrote down. 89. Now we'll continue going the same direction until it goes past and then comes back to that 5. Okay, it's coming back. We'll call it right there. So now the degree wheel is reading 124. Okay. So what we do, we take those two numbers, 89 plus 124. We're going to do 89 plus 124 equals, and we're going to divide that number by 2. Divided by 2 equals 106.5. Okay, our cam card says right there, intake center line 106. So, being that we can't get exact with the pointer, 106, we there. Okay, so intake center line, we good. That means we got the cam on the timing mark where it's supposed to be. Now another thing we're going to check it says on the card intake at 15 thousandths, the intake opens at 48 degrees before top dead center. So we're going to check that. And then it closes at 80 degrees after. So we're going to check that now. First thing I want to do is going all the way around to get it start opening again. Okay, we'll open it now. All right, that's 15 thousandths. Should be 48 degrees. Yep, we're at 48 degrees. So that means the intake valve is open exactly when it's supposed to. So now we're going to turn it until it opens all the way and comes back down and closes right before, when it gets back down to that mark, we should be reading 80 on a degree wheel. And to speed things up, I'm going to turn it with the wrench to get closer. Okay, we're going to go to 35. There. Okay, 80. Perfect. So that's the way you degree. That's the way you check the cam. Usually, every cam I ever got, if you get the timing marks right, it degrees right. But I'm gonna show you something on this timing set in just a minute. I'm gonna take that. I'm gonna take that degree wheel off, and I'm gonna show you something there. Now the timing set I have has 3 grooves that these keyways will line up with. We got a round groove, we got a square groove, and under here we got a kind of a cathedral shaped groove. So one is for 4 degrees after retarded, one's for 4 degrees advanced. But we're not gonna get into no serious all that. We want to just get the thing timed top the way it's supposed to be, the way the car says to time it. So if you read the directions real close, it says use the slot that's got the round top to put this gear on. And then when you do that, I'll show you the timing marks. Okay, I got the round top groove, and I got the O lined up with the dot. Now if I use one of these others, for example the square one under there, it's got a little square timing mark that goes with that. That'd be the 4 degrees retarded or advanced, whichever one. You have to read the directions. So when you get it geared, it's got these 3 different slots. You got to read the directions to make sure you got it installed on the right one. But I installed it the way the book says, the instruction says. I got the timing marks lined up, and I checked it with the degree wheel, and everything's perfect. So usually when you get a cam, if you install it, get these timing marks right, you don't have to worry about degreeing it. I mean, it's a very rare, matter of fact, I had never seen one that was wrong. The only time I see one was wrong is if somebody get this wrong notch and they don't get these marks lined up and the notch is right and all that stuff, then you're out of time. So when you gotta get bottom gears, you got them, all them notches, you gotta read the directions real careful and make sure you get it right. But that's so much for timing the cam. The cam is in time. It should haul ass. I buy these little old brushes in bulk, same as with ice cream sticks and mixing cups, paint filters, all that stuff. But you take one of these brushes and you cut about that much of it off. You take your I use Permatex number 2. Squirt you out some of that on something, Then you take that brush and you can just paint it on there where you want it at. You won't make no mess. You won't get too much. Get just the right amount and the right spot. This particular cam takes a cam button. That's a little roller bar in there that cover holds that cam in so the cam can't walk out, in case you're wondering what that is right there. Yeah, I bought this stainless steel kit of bolts. Got every bolt pretty much you need to put that motor together. You know, valve covers, oil pan, timing cover, water pump, intake bolts, you name it. Looks pretty good. Stainless steel, all stainless steel bolts. Makes a nice little touch. Now I'm checking, I want to check my push rod length. I got, when you build a custom engine, you got to have the right length push rod. So what I got here, I got adjustable push rods that you use to check your length. And a big block Chevrolet requires 2 of them because one's short, one's long. But what I done, I looked in the cam and got the part number for the push rod that it recommends and the length. And I set these adjustable ones to the length that this particular cam calls for, and I'm gonna check. Now what I done, I took my permanent marker and marked the top of the valve stems with this permanent marker. You see the other one's not marked, these 2 are marked. I'm gonna check these 2. So now I'm gonna put the rocker arm back on, both of them, and I'm gonna spin the motor over and see where my pattern is at in the top of the valve stem. Okay, on the exhaust valve, the push rod length that it calls for is way short. So I had to make it longer, but as you can see, the pattern is right in the middle of the valve stem, where it's supposed to be. Now, on the intake valve, it was way short too. I had to make the push rod longer. But if you can see, the mark is not exactly in the center. It's a little bit to this side, which means the push rod is a little bit too short. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to lengthen the push rod a little bit. I'm going to put a new mark, and I'm going to check it again. Okay, after you see I made the push rod a little longer, you see the bar dead center of the valve stem. So what I done, I put the rocker arm on and tighten it down kind of snug with probably 0 clearance. And I spun the motor over 2 rounds to make this intake valve cycle twice, open twice. And so the exhaust length is correct and the intake push rod length is correct. So after I got the push rod adjusted to the right length, where I get the pattern on top of the valve stem that I wanted, so now all I got to do is measure the push rod from one end to the other end, and call Summit Racing and tell them what length push rods I want. And I want the 4130 chrome moly 3/8 inch with 80 thousandths wall is what comp recommends. So, yep, push rods, gotta get the right length. Now I know you guys want to have a look see at my heads from Skip White Performance. Yep, look at them big old holes. That's 335 cc runners. They got all the comp valve springs for the cam. I got the little retainers, locks, everything is comp. All good stuff. And they use high quality valves. They don't use the Chinese valves. These what, PBM or some top high brand valves. Now these are Chinese cast heads, and I've done a lot of research on these Chinese cast heads. It's not usually a problem with the casting. If you go buy a Chinese head that's got all the Chinese springs and valves and all that good stuff, you're gonna probably have a broke spring or a broke valve. But if you get some Chinese castings and have somebody like Skip White put quality parts in it, you have a good head. So these, I really like the way this head looked. That's all. I mean, it's the combustion chambers look good. Good valves. Got the dimple. It's not the flat top valve. Dimple valve means it's a good valve. It's got big old intake ports. Ooh, that big old cam, this thing is gonna scream. But yeah, that's the heads. So, and we got the ARP head bolts. We got the comp Ultra Magnum roller rockers. And I got trick flow push rods, the chrome mounted push rods coming. Got the Dart adjustable push rod guides. We got all the good stuff. So yeah. Now I got, when I put this head on to check the push rod length, I put some modeling clay on top of the piston, 4 little 5 little spots, a little square piece of clay. Well, actually it wasn't model clay. I don't have any model clay. But since I've done underground utilities now, I got what we call ram neck. This is actually this thick tar. But it's kind of hard now, but if you work around, it gets soft, and I use some of that. Like 4 little pieces that stuck on top of that piston, about 3/16 of an inch thick. Then I put a little oil on top of that little piece of, I'm gonna call it modeling clay, put a little oil on top so it won't stick to the valve when it comes up. So now I'm gonna pull the head off and see how much clearance I got between the piston and the valve. That's because I had the push rods on and the valves working up and down when I turned the motor over. So we should have the clearance with those, with that modeling clay. We're gonna see what we got. Okay, there's a modeling clay. They require like 60,000 clearance, and those pieces are a lot thicker than that, and it never even touched the valves. So we got plenty of clearance. You see on the valve here, there's no trace of oil. I didn't even touch that oil on this modeling clay, we call it. But yeah, check the clearance, we're good. So I mean, so far everything's looking fine on the motor. I don't see no problems whatsoever so far. So I'm gonna go ahead. This was an old cheap head gasket I used just to fit it. I got the right good head gaskets for those heads. I'm fixing to mount the heads because everything looks good. No reason to go ahead and put them on. I'm gonna go ahead and bolt them down, torque them down. Now, being that these head bolts screw down into the water jacket, I don't want no leaks whatsoever. So I got some of this former gasket number 2 right here, and I'm gonna take my brush. I'm gonna brush all the threads on the head bolts with a little bit of that former gasket. It's gonna serve 2 purposes. It's gonna seal, so no water from the water jacket to get through them threads, and plus it'll lubricate the boat a little bit for help for torquing it down. I mean, they got the torquing compound here, but I don't I wouldn't trust it to seal the water jacket, but I do trust it to seal the water jacket, so that's what I'm going to use. Okay, we're still building the engine. We're going to get it done one day. We're going to get there. We just ain't there yet. Now, one thing I want to mention, I got a plastic bag that I keep over my engine at all times unless I'm working on it or I need to measure something on it. Other than that, that plastic bag stays over it because I don't want any dust or sand or anything, shop shavings or whatever to get on it. So yeah, I keep it under cover. Now if you look at my heads and with the intake gasket on it, you can see the head pretty much takes up the whole gasket. Got a little bit, it's a little bit smaller than the gasket, but not a lot. Now we'll take that gasket and bring over here to the intake manifold. You can see as the intake manifold is a pretty good bit smaller, so what we're going to do is what they call port matching. I'm going to have to open up these ports on this intake manifold because the air coming out of here is coming out of a smaller hole than where it goes into the head, so it's going to create a vortex. I don't know, Chevy made the vortex engine. I don't know if it's a good thing or a bad thing, but anyway, I want to make these ports closer to the size of the ones on the head, so it won't be a drastic change in volume between the intake and the head. So yeah, I got to do that. So what I'm going to do first is I'm going to get some clamps and clamp this with this gasket perfectly in the right spot and clamp it down. Okay, I got it clamped down. Now what I'm going to do, I'm going to scribe. I'm not going to do a solid line scribe. I'm just going to put some little marks ever so often to mark the gasket. And if you notice, this intake had an extra hole where it bolted. I don't know, it's kind of hard to see, but anyway, that hole, I don't have a hole for that bolt in my head, so I'm about to plug that hole. And also, this tunnel ram, evidently they had nitrous, a hidden nitrous system. You see the lines coming in from the backside, and they had the nitrous and the gas injectors in each port. And since I'm not going to run nitrous anytime soon, I'm going to have to plug these holes. So the way I'm going to do that is with JB weld. They got thread, the holes are threaded, so I can come in the backside, put a piece of tape, and fill out the hole with JB weld, and them threads to keep that hold that JB weld in there, and won't have to worry about it coming out. So yeah, I'm a JB weld those holes, and these other holes, you can see it better now. I don't have no threads in it, so what I'm probably going to do is just take a tap and tap some threads into that, so it'll give it the JB weld something to bite on, so it won't come out when I put it in there. But yeah, I'm gonna fill these holes with JB weld and all these holes, and got to open the ports up, so we're gonna get to that. Okay, after I took my clamps and clamped the gasket in place, I took my Harbor Freight pick, and I don't know if you see it or not, I scribed some lines, not solid lines, but to mark where the gasket, the edge of the gasket, on these 4 ports. What I done, I clamped my gasket to the head, and I used my measuring tool here, measured the distance between the gasket and the intake port. You can see the top is pretty much the same. I didn't do anything to the top. We pretty much match the top. The bottom is like 1/8 of an inch from the gasket, and these center ones is the outside edge. It's pretty much the same on all. This inside is where we got to do some measuring in the bottom. So we got these inside pieces and the bottom we got to measure. So what I done, I come over here after I put the marks on with the gasket, and I made some new marks from the gasket to the actual line. I got to cut. On all of them. So I'm going to take none out of the bottom. I'm going to take none out of that side. I got to take a little bit out of that side, some out of this side. I got to take a good bit out of the top. Now I measured the holes on the heads. They 1 3/4 wide. So after I mark these, I come to check, make sure I'm about the same, 1 3/4. I'm a little bit less than 1 3/4, which is fine. We don't have to be perfect. And then we're 2.5 high. So I come and check the height of my marks to make sure we're the same height. 2.5 high, 1 3/4 wide. So now I got these solid lines. I got to cut to. I got to take out all the way to that solid line. Now I got this new tool. Well, it ain't new. It's been a few years old. I made when I was doing the Mitsubishi stroker, Ford stroker, 351 Windsor stroker motor. What I use this for, see if we get a better look at it. What I use this for is I was porting the heads on it, and the push rod hole was right at the port. So I'd stick that down in the push rod hole. Let's see what I find. Well, there's a push rod hole right there. Push rod hole, put that down in there, and then you can measure. It's kind of hard to see, but anyway, you can measure the thickness of the wall there. So when I was porting that out, I didn't want to get in the push rod hole. And then I got me a couple marks here that shows the thickness. Okay, that mark there, if I line those two marks up, I didn't want to get no thinner than that. Let's see if we can get a better look at it. See, if I line those two marks up, I still got about a 1/16 of an inch thickness. So that's why I had those marks there. I don't want to get no thinner than that. So when I put this in the push rod hole and check the thickness of the wall, if it's at least that thick, I'm good. But I could use the same tool to check the thickness on the wall over here. It's not no push rod, but it's still the same thing. So I can use this right here to check my thickness. And as you can see, I still got a 1/4 inch thickness I can cut out of there. So I'm gonna use this tool to check to make sure I don't get the walls too thin all the way around. Even down, well, I don't have to cut none off the bottom, but the top, I gotta make sure I don't get too thin there. I could put this tool in there like that and check the thickness of that wall. And you see right now, we still got almost a 1/4 inch I could take out of that and still be plenty thick. So yeah, another homemade tool right there. Made out of sheet metal. Check the thickness of your heads and your intake stuff. Real simple tool. So now I gotta get my Dremel, my air Dremel, and I got aluminum bits for it. I'm gonna show you them and start cutting out some metal. Okay, this is my dremel bits. This is for cutting cast iron, steel. That's why if you're porting a steel head or you're cutting steel, you use that. But I'm not going to be using that on this. These are for aluminum. See how much bigger the difference is between the two? These are specifically for cutting aluminum. So I'm going to be using these two, mostly this big one. And I may use a little one a little bit, but mostly this big one to open up these ports. Now I'm about to start cutting those ports. If you notice, my inch is way on the other end of the shop, covered up. And the reason why, when you start doing, I mean, you got little bitty metal shavings, aluminum flying everywhere. This is really, I hate doing this because those little aluminum flakes get everywhere. I mean, you be picking them out of your skin, it'd be like splinters in your skin. It's a mess. So you really had to suit up with long sleeve shirts, gloves, and try to keep all them shavings off your body as much as you can, but it's almost impossible. They're gonna get all over. So anyway, we gotta do it, so we're gonna do it now. Okay, I'm gonna video just a little bit of this process. I don't want to take a chance of getting that metal all up my camera, so penetrating oil. Put a little bit in your gun and your Dremel tool, spray a little bit on the metal. We're going to be cutting. Okay, that's how, see all the little flakes, they get everywhere, it's a mess. But yeah, that little bit of time, I didn't cut that side, the thing cuts quick. I done got that pretty much roughed in. So I'm gonna cut the camera off, and that's basically the thing, and then you kind of get the edge, and then you work your way in a little bit and kind of get the even flow. So I'm gonna do all the ports, that's the way I'm gonna do all of them. So cut the camera off, and I don't want to get these shavings. See, they everywhere. Look at it. Now, when you cut that aluminum with this tool, you got to keep moving it around. Keep penetrating oil on it. Keep moving it around because you don't want it to get hot. Because what happens when it gets hot, that aluminum starts sticking. Starts sticking to the teeth, and you got to take a little pick like this and scrape it off. And that's because it's got a little too hot. Keep moving it around. Don't be grinding the same spot. Keep moving it around. Keep plenty of oil on it. Every now and then stop. Let your compressor catch up. And clean these teeth off on this bit. Now that I got all of my ports roughed in with the aluminum cutting bit, I got this Eastwood port pilots kit. It comes with little shafts, different sandpaper that goes on, and real cool stuff. I'm gonna come in there now and find and sand it out with that Dremel tool with one of them on it and clean that up. All right, that's what we got after that process. And as you can see, it fits the gasket kind of like the head, so it probably ain't perfect. We probably don't have a perfect port match, but man, it's a lot closer to what it was, so we're gonna go with that. It's a rat rod, but hey, I don't want to, something as easy as that, might as well go ahead and do it. I got the tools to do it with. So yeah, port matching. Okay, got my holes patched up with JB weld, big bolt holes. fuel injector holes, line entry holes. These big bolt holes. So yeah, so two things I can say about this port matching on this intake. One is it's gonna flow a whole lot better than what it did before. It might still not be perfect. It's not a CNC machine job, but it's gonna flow a lot better than it did. And another thing I can guarantee you is if you do this, you're gonna be picking them little old aluminum flakes out of your hands, feet. I done cleaned up most of them, but they everywhere. I mean, you see, I done cleaned and blowed and sweeped and blowed, cleaned and blowed. There's just no way to get, you can't get rid of them. But they're just like, they're sharper than a needle. They'll stick in you. So I can guarantee if you do this, you're gonna be picking them out of your skin for a couple of weeks after you do this, guaranteed. Oh yeah. Just come in. You FedEx just brought me these push rods. Check these things out. Trick flow. Boy, you're talking about a fine piece of it's good carrying on here. That's a fine piece of carrying on, whoever made these. Yeah. So hey, I finished putting the motor together now. I got my push rods. Got my intake manifold. Got these. I got my lifter soaking in oil, and these coffee mate. I use coffee mate. And I saved these because they weren't perfect. You can put some bolts in there and put a little diesel or gas in there and put this lid on it, screw it down, and then shake it. Shake it, 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 and you clean bolts real good. But that's what I use to clean these lifters and all. I had to use mineral spirits for the lifters. I put one in at a time in the mineral spirits and shook it, put the lid on, shake it, take it out, put it on a clean piece of cardboard on a rag, put another one in, and the same thing for the rocker arms. They're down there soaking in oil. And it's a good thing too, because there's a lot of debris after I look down in that mineral spirits after I got through cleaning everything. You see the debris down in there, especially them rocker arms. And they call for a lacquer thinner to clean them, and man, they had a lot of those foreign matter down at the bottom of that lacquer thinner when I got through cleaning them. So when you buy new parts like this, you need to make sure you clean them, because they just build them, they don't clean them. So yeah, they build them, put some oil on them, but they don't clean them, so you gotta make sure you clean that. And yeah, I like to soak my stuff like this in oil before I get ready to put it in. Yeah, coffee mate jugs. You need coffee mate jugs building rat rods. Okay, got all the lifters in and push rods, the new trick flow push rods. Got all the rocker arms on. One thing I want to show you about these rocker arms. Well, first, this is adjustable, dart adjustable push rod guys. And the reason they're adjustable is because, just for example, that one right there. You got to make sure that roller is in the center of the valve stem. So you use the adjustable push rod guys to get that right, because if it's off to the side too much, you don't want that. You want to get them in the center. That one's perfect right there. Okay, the old raggedy motor's done. Yep, motor's ready. I don't have the intake bolted down yet. I'm gonna leave. I'm not gonna bolt it down till I get the motor in the car. I just got it sitting up there. But yeah, I just stuck the intake on there so we have a look-see. Okay, I started rubbing some silver on the firewall so you see the side that don't have silver, the side that does. Not hard to see at all. So this is what I do. I take, got old aluminum, silver aluminum paint, spread on a rag. Take the heat gun. Heat it up till it quits bubbling. Okay, we'll get right here. Something like that. Spray a little more silver on the rag. Probably ain't too good on my camera here. Heat it up till it quits bubbling. See that? Rub it in the same direction, whichever way you want the grain to go. All right. That's what I want. I might come back over these stitches like that, maybe a little bit, get a little brighter on them stitches to make them stand out a little more. But you just do that, but just rub over a little more, maybe a little bit harder. Pick a spot of rag, you got more paint on it, put your finger there, rub it in there like that. Okay, in about 20 minutes I've done all under the hood. Well, there ain't no hood on it yet, but done the firewall, all the front chassis. all the front suspension. And about 20 minutes to do all that. So, and the good news is, if you need to touch it up, all you got to do is spray some black paint over it. Let the black paint dry, rub silver over it again. I mean, it ain't nothing to fixing any bad spots. So yeah, but the red's gonna get the same treatment. When I get to it, it's gonna get the same treatment. I rub silver over it, just same I did the black. So yeah, there's your bare metal look in just a little bit of no time. Okay, so I decided I want to go a little bit more aggressive with my bare metal look. So right side more aggressive, left side not. So let's look at it a little closer. Yeah, that's pretty aggressive right there. This here is not aggressive. Okay, not aggressive, aggressive. Now I'm gonna do the other side and match it. But the way I done that, what's different is I took me a piece of denim, old overalls, cut a piece of leg out, about a foot square. Folded it all up and I poured some mineral spirits on it. And what that does is it lets the paint stay softer, longer, dry, slower, and all that good stuff. Okay, then I soaked it good, sprayed a lot of paint on both sides. And took my heat gun, heated it up a little bit. And then folded up to about 3-inch square that I could, with that folded up piece, I could unfold it one way, turn it over to the other side, and in other words, I done this whole half without ever had to put any more paint on it, and I could have probably finished the whole car just with that one time. So yeah, if you use mineral spirits and put a lot of paint on it, you can get a more aggressive bare metal look. It's going to be put more silver on. And the more you let dry it or heat it up, it's going to make that paint kind of like thick, and it will require you to rub hard to get the silver to come out of the rag onto the paint. So the drier the paint is, the harder you got to rub and the better look you get. So some of that is not really smoothed out. I'm at the, when that paint dries more on there, and it's I could come in and rub this a little bit harder to get it to blend in better. So yeah, the paint was a little bit wet when I put this on, so I got a good bare metal look. Now when it dries more on the rag, I'm gonna come back and blend it in. That's the way I'm gonna do that. But yeah, after I fold the rag up, get the paint dried, then I could come in and just start rubbing lightly to get more aggressive. And these cast iron, the rougher the part is, the better effect it's gonna have. That's why I want my car rough, stitches in it and all that, so when I rub the silver over it, it'll have a better look. See, the smooth parts don't, I mean, you could, yeah, it works, but it don't look as good as rough parts. Like, for example, that rough piece right there, you get a better effect the rougher the metal is. That's why I want all the stitches in the car. That's why I want the car rough. When I rub this on it, it's gonna stand out better in spots. But yeah, we get a better aggressive look with the mineral spirits. Okay, now we're done with under the hood. So after the paint, I never sprayed no more paint on that rag. I used it that one time, done the whole under here. And then after I got through rubbing it down, the paint started drying a little bit, and then you can start rubbing harder to get it to blend in. So after that paint, after I went over it one time, the paint started to get a little drier. I started rubbing just a little bit harder in spots to get it to blend in. But yeah, it's pretty aggressive bare metal look. That's what I want. So that's what I was looking for. Yeah, I got the shop destroyed building transmission, but it's almost done. Waiting on the pan and a couple parts, and it'll be done. But I did get my Fender wells pieces bolted in. All right, what we got now, we're getting close to putting this thing back down on its feet. Before I put the back tires wheels on, I gotta line the rear end up, and the way I'm gonna do that, I got these orange stripes on the floor that I put there way back 5 months ago when I started the car. They're still there. It's hard to believe it's still there, but they are. But anyway, I gotta get the car lined up this way. I gotta get the front centered with that stripe, and I gotta get the back centered with that stripe. And then I got the stripe here for the rear end. These lines are all squared. I squared them all up. I got to drop a plumb bob down from the rear end and measure to get I got to get the rear end straight this way. It's got to be straight so the car won't dog track. We don't want the car dog tracking. So I got to line the car centered with that long line, and I got to get the rear end straight with this line here. That's what I got to do now. And I got my adjustable four-link to be able to line that rear end up. So I want to do that before I put the rear tires on it. Okay, now I got the car lined up with the center line, front and back. And now I want to get, so what I'm doing here, I'm hanging the plumb bob down from the back side of the transmission tube. I mean rear end tube on both sides, this side and the other side. And I put me a mark there. And then I measure for that mark to this orange line I got there, been there for about 5 months. And I want to get this side and that side the same with the distance from this mark. So, okay, I got the rear end lined up this way so it won't dog track. Now I want to get it centered. So I dropped the plumb bob down here and on the other side and measure from there to the center line, and to get the rear end this way, they use the pan hard bar, this bar right here, to make it longer or shorter to move the rear end side to side. So I got that done, got the rear end centered this way. I got it lined up this way so it won't dog track. So I got all the jam nuts tightened up on everything on the 4-link. So now I'm ready to put the tires on it. Piece I cut off my Driveshaft tube, which is a 3-inch, and laid that over and started shaping that. Yeah, I'll show you what it's gonna look like. Anyway, this is just a small piece of it. It's gonna go right there. Gotta make another one for the other part. And then I gotta make the end pieces, which is gonna have to come down under the headlight. These end pieces is going to be a totally separate piece. Like I always do, I make small pieces. I don't want to make the whole thing in one shot. So that's my first piece for the front roll pan. I got the original front bumper, but man, you talking about looking ugly up there. That front bumper looked terrible as big as it is in this little old car. So this here is going, we're going with this little roll pan like that. Yep, that's what we're gonna do. Oh yeah, I made this edge around the hole for my engine compartment, 1 inch. And around the fender wells. Of course, I ain't ground the weld on this yet, just fresh weld. But yeah, make that little lip there, and that little lip in the engine compartment. Yeah, I got that did. Yeah, I got them 2 pieces tacked on. Now I got to do the curvy pieces under the headlights on each side. A little bit more of a challenge, but we'll get it. All right, got the front roll pan did. Yep, that made it look a lot better. I was worried about that. So that solved that problem. Don't need no big old heavy bumper. That's all we need right there. Didn't think it'd take long to do all that. But yeah, I got her done. I put me welded me some flames up in the hood there. I guess, or we could call it demon horns, I don't know. But anyway, I done that. Motors together. Transmissions together. The car sitting there begging for a motor and transmission. It's way ready for a motor and transmission. Some good matching up right there. Yeah, them ports match up perfect. Electrical. Even though I'm not even wiring the headlights up or the blinkers yet, all I'm doing is brake lights, but man, there's a lot of electrical work to get the gauges up and just to make the motor run. Yeah, I got the radiator mounted. Yeah, you can see I've been having fun up in here. Hey, wait a minute. That ain't no rat rod Driveshaft. Got a top radiator hose on. Got the transmission cooler mounted. Cooling lines run. Okay, first start. Wish me luck.